You know, they pretty much say it's after somebody dies and you find out who they truly are. You understand if they were good or bad, were they a person, a man or woman of principle and standing, or they were just full of it. But regardless, death always reveals those things in the end, in the very end, when their lives are gone and moved on. Which leads to me speaking it and want to give a big rest in peace out to Dick Gregory. To me, I consider him one of the elder gods. And the reason why I say the elder gods is because this was a man who actually put his whole career on the line for the civil rights movement, even though ultimately the civil rights movement actually failed and got us to this predicament, which we're still going through today in 2017. But this was a man who put his whole career and his stability on the line. So like what Colin Kaepernick is doing today. And I can't do nothing but have respect for Dick Gregory. Now, when it comes to Dick Gregory, I always heard the name, but I never knew who he was, and I'm talking about back then. It wasn't until I was to look back to some old videos, which was a couple of years ago back in the 90s, and I actually saw him doing some comedies that he did. But I noticed that later on in life, he actually switched over to doing focusing on the civil rights movement, even so far as putting himself on the front line, so to speak. He's a man who had everything going for him in his life. He was doing his thing with comedy, getting paid well, providing for his 11 children. Yes, him and Lucille, which is his wife, who by the way is his widow, has 11 children. He put it all on the line. He even so much as even went so far as to tell his family that the movement is even more important than his family. Even though I personally feel you should always look out for your family, which I believe he did do. I honestly believe that. You got to respect the man's conviction based off that alone. When you say this is bigger than even my family, you have to respect the man's conviction. Period, point blank. You just have to give it to him. But like I said, he was the one actually on the front lines. You can see proof of this. Because in 1963, he was actually, I want to make sure I got that right. I believe it was 1963. He actually wrote a letter from jail when he in Alabama jail where he's saying this is the best beating I ever took in my life. That means that man was really on the front lines for real. Unlike Andrew Young, who, by the way, the former mayor of Atlanta, which, by the way, was on CNN and made an ass out of himself and showed what of a coon he really was. I might have to go ahead and do a follow-up video based on that, because that was atrocious to hear what the things he had to say. I mean, the bootlegging just didn't stop. It was pretty bad. But this is about Dick Gregory. This is not about Andrew Young. But I wanted to iterate that point. The man even got shot in the leg in 1965 by a protester. Now, obviously not of his own side, but he got shot in the leg. That means this man literally took a bullet for the rights he believed in and making sure all blacks had equality. In fact, it was so much as further, like, before even all that happened, he joined the Urban League. The Urban League, I want to make sure I have that right. It might be the Youth League, Urban League. And they say he'd probably be more valuable being on stage telling about the wrongs races going in America, which Dick Gregory was already doing in his comedy already. He was already routinely doing this. And Dick Gregory responded and said, look, when America goes to war, they don't send in their comedians. That tells you the measure of a man what this man is. What more is there to really honestly say? This man put it down. I even seen him later on in life. And then I remember I saw him put some funny jokes on when he was on a Emmett Smith roast that Jamie Foxx hosted. Y'all probably remember that roast, the Emmett Smith roast. He was there as as the roasters. Like I said, this was a man who just put it all on the line, regardless of the fact of what he had. It even got so bad. Originally, he had owned a farm in Plymouth, Massachusetts. He even owned a farm, and because he put everything on the line, not only for the movement but for the rights of African Americans, he eventually lost that farm that he owned and had to move into an apartment with his family. Again, you have to respect the man's conviction. You can't do nothing but tip your hat off, and that's why I consider Dick Gregory to be one of the elder gods in this whole movement. And to show respect, just pay my condolences not only to his family's loved one, but just show the respect for what this man has done. Because like I said before, I believe the civil rights movement failed us. But I do know, even though despite that the civil rights movement failed, thanks to turncoats and those who wanted to settle integration, there was those who actually put their lives on the line and did die for the rights for us to have what we have today. Even though things are slowly reverting back to the good old days, or quote unquote make America great again. I can't do nothing but respect Dick Gregory for what he has done. You have to look at it. And there's a few people. Then there's people out there who still continuing that. Like I said, you have Colin Kaepernick right now. I don't like how he's being railroaded. And I'm a football guy, and I haven't even caught a game yet. And I don't know if I'm going to watch a game, even going to watch a game. But that's something I'll probably speak on in another video. I'm probably going to do a whole piece about the sports. In fact, you know what? That might actually be something I'm going to do. I'm going to call this professional athletes, the modern day plantation bucks. You know what? That's something I might have to do, because I wanted to talk about that for a while anyway, based off just based off LeVar Ball already, and then just seeing all this other stuff happen with Colin Kaepernick, and then you have people like Des Bryant's coon ass. So I'll probably have to get on him in a video. Charles Barkley, which that means no surprise, and others who are or not trying to stand up. So this is something I might really want to look at too. But going back to Dick Gregory, it's funny how he's wanting to put it all on the line. But just doing the whole Charlottesville outright rally, I see Kevin Hart on Twitter talking about, and I have no problem with him saying I love everybody. I have no problem with Kevin Hart saying that. What I do have a problem with it, when you start saying things like, I'm going to use my talents to bring people together, I actually tweeted and responded to him like, well, I don't understand how your chance can bring people together. That's not going to stop me or anybody else of our skin color from getting shot by the police or by alt-rights members or those who feel like they're deputized, that they can go out and on a shooting spree to kill black people. So Kevin Hart's going to have to do a lot better than that. But then again, this is a guy who actually kissed another guy. And from my understanding, wore a dress. I never watched too many Kevin Hart movies. Do I think he was a funny comedian on the way up? Absolutely. But I just don't feel like he's going to speak up like that, because Hollywood's got him in his pocket. They got him in Hollywood's pocket. So I just don't really feel he's going to do what he does. But yet, Dick Gregory didn't have no problem making transition. Say, you know what? Let me leave the comedy alone and focus on civil rights and protesting and fight and speaking on black issues. Speaking on black issues full time. I can't do nothing but respect Dick Gregory for what he's done. I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to iterate it to that point. And like I said, I want to definitely give a condolences to Dick Gregory's family, all his wife, Lucille, and all 11 of his children, including one that died of stillbirth, named Richard. But I can't do nothing but just have admiration and respect. Let's say you guys go ahead and leave your comments, your condolences for Dick Gregory, and I'll definitely get at y'all at the next video.